G'day, good people. We are 9 weeks into the Gofundme campaign and we are this close to halfway to our stated goal. Now, that's including the PayPal contributions as well. The good people of Vietnam lost their ex-president this week, and I spoke to a few of them and he was much beloved. So as a mark of respect, they closed the military shipyard on the Friday. Now, unfortunately, usually on Friday, I write your names up on the boat and film it, but of course I couldn't get access. So we're going to just have to put them up on the screen now temporarily, and next week they'll go on the boat. Robert Glens has yet again excelled himself with yet another large contribution, and also Joe Lynch with another large contribution, both of whom already were on the column of heroes, which has got me thinking that maybe I need a column of heroes for the column of heroes. That's a lot of column of heroes, good people. George Eakins is also to go on the column of heroes as well, with his contribution as well as being a long-time supporter. To be drawn on the boat, we have Captain Asparagus for the 4th time. Good on you, Captain. Please send me an email so I know who you really are, because I think you also need to go on the column of heroes. Also to be drawn on the boat is Ben Mooch, Brent Falanico again, Keith Tidy, Damien Sholton and Lee Barter. In fact, all of those that have donated on the GoFundMe campaign, please send me an email so I can add you to the bonus video list. Put in the subject matter GoFundMe and the date you donated, and I'll add you to the list. We've had a ton of meetings so far. Yes, you know, we've had lots of meetings with respect to companies and potential sponsors. I have my almost daily meeting with Bart, sometimes two. But last week we had our very first IT meeting. Now, that's not to say that the IT group haven't been working as it is. We've had a chat group for a few weeks now, well, actually probably a couple of months now. But last week was our very first meeting. Now, these are a very talented bunch of guys that have volunteered to get the very best out of the equipment we're getting for the Elcano World Challenge. So, top stuff, guys. Now, to sum up the first meeting,
and in terms of all of what you're talking about here, it's cool stuff.
Cool stuff indeed. In fact, this boat is going to be one technologically advanced boat. Who would have thought? Sailing into freedom. But we're going to mesh high-tech gear with these brilliant minds. Here are some excerpts.
The most important is the region, of course.
I was actually more interested in the protocol on top of the CAN bus.
NMEA 2000 is actually a derivative CAN bus, but it's a marine standard. So you can use a converter to go between the two, but it sounds to me like we're going to have NMA 2000 systems and communications and CAN bus systems. And at some point, we need to get the data and bridge it across to use both of them. And we're probably going to have an IP network as well.
Yeah, on my boat, I use a Raspberry Pi server, and I use that. It's got a P&M hat, which connects directly to the NMEA CAN bus, and I collect all of the data using InfluxDB, and you can select which measures you want to you want to capture.
Now, if you have no idea what they're talking about, don't worry. We're going to go through this in later episodes. The actual meeting went for like an hour and 16 minutes, so it was too long to show on YouTube. So I just thought I'd show that we're getting together, we're getting these very clever minds together, we're proceeding according to plan, and basically I wanted to honour some of these guys, or all of these guys, by introducing you to some of them.
I'm a stink boater for a long time, but I have got a sailboat now, and I've had the sailboat for about 3-4 years now. I'm one of those COVID sailors. I thought, let's go sailing. So I've got a sailboat, 44-footer, which I enjoy doing lots of maintenance on. I suppose 99% of my time is maintaining my boat, 1% of the time sailing it. So, which I don't know, that's probably normal, right? My background is in technology and mining. So I'm currently working in mining technology systems. These are mostly how to improve mining from autonomous systems. So I've worked on automating haul trucks on mines to managing remote technologies and remote operations.
My background is actually mechanical engineering, but I've been in IT for the last 33 years. I work as an architect in a pretty big global company in energy and utilities. So, but I basically travel around the planet working with different energy utility companies in designing what I call situational awareness systems to help them understand, whatever they're building is sufficient to support the demand that they have.
I started coding when I was about 5. My granddad taught me. He was a science teacher. And I've just always had an interest in programming. I did it really for hobby for most of my early life. But then I actually got into work doing coding basically. And I've worked at lots of financial companies because I live near London in England. So yeah, they pay quite well there. So I've always worked there, but it's quite boring. So I'm trying to diversify and get involved in other projects at the moment. But I'm very good at real-time coding and analytics. I built trading engines for software companies for executing trades, analyzing data. So that needs to be fairly fast. So I've done low level, high level, everything really. So I've had over 30 years of development experience. I'm really excited to get involved in this project.
I'm Bart. I'm from Belgium. I'm a senior. I call myself a senior enterprise architect, infrastructure cloud. I've been a freelance consultant now for 25 years, somewhat. So I'm more on the infrastructure side. I'm the hardware guy, let's say.
Martin van Zyl in South Africa. My IT experience is more on information management, information and dashboards and cockpits and things like that.
Now, as you have heard, these guys have been in the IT industry for decades. Now, what happens when this high-tech IT philosophy meets sailing into freedom?
We've got safety systems to think about. And on the delivery side is when I'm working with customers.
I don't know if you've seen the channel, David, but safety is usually fourth.
But jokes aside, yes, safety fourth, I might have mentioned once or twice, or maybe 200 times. Basically, in the past, safety fourth was because, well, we had a complete lack of funds. But things are changing and we're getting sponsors on board, and now we've got these guys. So safety is going to be a priority. And what we're going to be doing is not only what we're aiming to achieve is to see the status of everything, and you can see it on these screens, but we want to introduce what Bart terms predictive analysis.
Yeah, the whole systems, all the power systems and the engines, it's all fairly complex. And there is nothing on the market that can tell you what you're gonna be using. It's only now at this moment you have so much wattage and so much amperage, etc. So we basically discussed with him the idea of trying to make a kind of a whole reporting dashboard in the first instance, and then hopefully maybe also do some analysis on that.
Here are some hints about what's coming up in the near future.
Who will be delivering 60 kilowatts of rack-based batteries, plus the PDUs for it. So, and then also the controller, the monitor for it. We have Peplink as a major sponsor, who will put in a very large 4G, 5G antenna. It's about 7 kilos. It will sit on the top of the mast, on the first spreader.
40 centimeters diameter and 50 centimeters high, and 7.5 kilos.
Ray Marine will bring in a ton of systems. We basically have the whole set of what they sell.
It sounds like we just need to get this all on paper on a diagram and start breaking it into pieces that we can individually do our bit with and other people can contribute to.
So this is our first meeting to get to know each other and see who could do what.
We need to list our capabilities, and it's kind of working out. So I'll do the Peplink stuff and the infrastructure stuff. It's very clear that Ian is much more into coding, and maybe with the help from David. And then
Yeah.
Martin and David probably is more on the hardware side and can help in that. And JP can help
Visualization,
in the application design. I'm an infrastructure designer, and I think JP, you're more an application
We could,
designer. Huh?
I like we got JP as an architect and maybe and yourself, but we need to just get these layers right. Control layer and then the comms layer in terms of everything communicating and the visualization. Sounds like Martin could do that kind of thing.
We should like have a weekly sprint and start creating some JIRAs for things that need to be done. And then we could start allocating JIRAs and breaking down tasks. Maybe have a sprint in.
Like just basically little tasks for people to do, and then the little check-ins. See how we're going, and
we don't necessarily all need to be here for that, but like obviously anyone who wants to come along as well would be welcome. But maybe just having a weekly iteration, and we can all start picking up some tasks and agreeing to do them for the following week.
Thank you very much, guys, for putting in this time. It's something that I'm very touched by all the engineers and all of you guys and everyone that's helping me out during this thing, because it is way beyond me. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
oh, pleasure.
With me delaying the build for financial reasons and also waiting for some sponsors gear to come through, some of the welders working on my boat got removed before they finished their jobs, so I'm now going over the whole boat to see how much more welding is needed to be done and get an idea of how much more time we need to complete the boat. In the bow section, the collision bulkhead is a very tight spot, even for little people, and I'm 185 centimetres, which is not so little. Getting in and out of this spot is a bit like climbing up a cliff. Going up is okay, but coming back down is, well, difficult. Well, getting back out was difficult. Come on! Oh no! Will our very partially loved/tolerated protagonist escape from this very tight spot? Financial or collision bulkhead? We all know this is sailing into freedom and he has been in tighter spots than this before. But there is a nagging doubt. Alas, he doesn't have his spear gun or a rotten pineapple or even a plastic bag to get him out of this jam. So it seems the future is bleak indeed. Stay tuned for the next exciting episode of Cutting, Grinding and Welding.